Today we're here to check out the first map of Culture Shock. I'm super excited. The DLC just came out yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the video out immediately because I have to work, but here we are to take a look. I'm going to do this video a little bit differently than I normally do. Usually I just do like a playthrough, but I think it's kind of boring to watch me like manage staff levels 100% of the time. So we're going to do a little speed play with voiceover, so let me know if you like this style. If you haven't seen my previous videos on 2 Point Hospital, it is one of my favorite games. I loved Theme Hospital before it, and 2 Point Hospital is just absolutely amazing. So I'll leave the playlist here if you want to check it out. And if you like this kind of video, then make sure to click like to let me know and let YouTube know, and make sure to subscribe for more. I am going to be playing through all 3 maps of Culture Shock, as well as once I get a feel for the whole DLC, I'll be releasing a video to let you know if I think this DLC is worth the money. Uh-oh! Earthquake! Poor shark. That shark is so cute. Anyway. I will release a video to give like an overview of the whole DLC and let you know if I think you should buy it. But honestly, it's like $9 Canadian even. So can't go too wrong, but I'll let you know what I think of the DLC. So with that, let's get into the video. So like I said, we're going to do the first map, which I've already forgotten what it is, but we'll find out in a second. And I'm going to play through the first star because it's my lunch break and I have to go back to work. Alright, let's go.
I overheard a couple planning an upcoming visit to Goldpan the other day. Why should the youth of our county feel compelled to spend their leisure time visiting a glorified petrol station? Economic hardship or sheer stupidity? Call in to cast your vote. I hear that Roderick Cushing guy is filming a new medical drama at Plywood Studios. Just what we need, another show about a handsome doctor.
So I think this is from a different DLC. I bought a couple of them during the last sale.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but let's just say it's about a professional bowler that solves interdimensional mysteries.
And there's the shark!
Actually, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Plywood Studios. Ooh. Alright. Greetings, puny administrator. It is I, investigative journalizer Charlatine Fish Wrapper of the 2 Point Squabbler. I'm conducting secret reporting espionage and have achieved clearance for you to help. The government are hide-and-sneaking a space crash and are keeping super quiet. Okay, no, wait. This is a different one. Let's go. We'll cover that DLC maybe in a separate video. Okay, this is the one where we want to read. So, my name is Zara Fitzpocket. Yes, those Fitzpockets. And I'm writing to ask for your help. But where to begin? As you may know, I am an artist, specializing in mixed media collage, papier-mâché, and oily paints. My friend, the arts are sick, and the people are too. Coincidence? I'm afraid not. For far too long, we have overlooked a sickness in our minds, our homes, and our loft studio workspaces. What may have begun as a collective dry spell has become an all too literal illness. No single remedy, be it dramatic, melodramatic, or medical, will be enough. No, we must all work together on my biggest project yet. With my connections and your uncanny ability to heal things, we must cure the ailing culture of 2 Point County. First things firstly, I believe that we'll be needing a shot in the arm, and who better to administer the injection than a certified healthcare whiz such as yourself. If you're interested, and I hope you are, your first task will take you to Plywood Studios and the silver screen. Remember, the pen is mightier than the scalpel. Zara. Okay. Oh, and there's another one. I think this is more, again, I haven't played this game apparently since May. That is crazy. So this has nothing to do with this DLC. It's just the super bug that they released a little while ago. And I would like to go to Croquembouche and do like a similar video for this, but let's go to Plywood first. Okay. Welcome to Plywood Studios, where the producers of a new medical drama have asked you to run their show. They want a real administrator to add validity, dynamism, and an amusing, gimmicky quality. On the show, titled Backwards, Roderick Cushion will be playing a senior doctor who's inexplicably forgotten all of his training. They've decided to call the character Dr. Roderick Cushion because, well, I'd actually rather not get into that again. It's just simpler for Mr. Cushion, okay? Let's leave it at that. To produce a compelling, county-gripping hit show, you'll need to work on developing your main character, Dr. Roderick Cushion. People don't like characters who tread water. It reminds them of their desperate, repetitive existences. Roderick won't fraternize with the rest of the cast on his wigs. Not on his salary. So he's got his very own trailer. If you can't find him, he'll probably be in there. Oh, and to inject some urgency into the proceedings, the actors will be trying at least, real patients. What could go wrong? I mean, of course, I want a bunch of actors to go ahead and cure me. Okay, so here is our star doctor. He is just a junior doctor with no skills, which is nice. You know that I love starting with like brand new doctors on med school, so that's good. And then it looks like we have a little bit of a training scenario just to cure him and to build a marketing department. Now, I got a little confused in the beginning because I thought there would be like, you know, some special objectives. Maybe the map would operate a little bit differently than most maps, but it's pretty much the same as regular. It's actually a pretty large lot for the first map of a DLC. I would expect that like later on, but usually the first map's a little easier, so that was interesting. But anyway, in order to train our star character, of course, we have to build a training room. So I did, the minimum is 3 by 3, I think. So I did a little bit larger, and I have that little blank space, and the purpose of that is to add more wall space. And I add more wall space because a super cheap room, or super cheap way to improve the training room, is to add a bunch of these posters. Each one increases the training speed by 1%, which is great considering the cost of this. Like, it's only $100. I think, let's say in the GP's office, you can add those medicine cabinets to increase the diagnostic power, but that's like 1,000 or something. So for 100, I always just splurge on this, even at the beginning of the game. I never usually have any like money issues anyway. Maybe at the beginning, but not overall. So that's fine. And I decided to train him as a GP because who doesn't need GPs in the hospital? Now, I don't know if I would necessarily recommend that. You see later that they kind of have all of these tasks throughout the thing of like training him to get him to cure patients or to diagnose patients. So obviously that's great for a GP, but also to like treat patients and whatever. So I really like specialized doctors, but since he's the star of our show, he has to be good at everything. And I think, I can't remember when I realized, but I started putting heaters in all of the rooms, assuming that, as most hospitals are, it's kind of one of those cold maps. But it's actually a hot map, so don't put radiators. Put something that's going to cool the place down. But anyway, we'll get into that in a sec. So like I said, after a while I realized, oh, this is just like a regular map. I should like build up my hospital, not just focus on these objectives. So I put down a reception desk. And here is our marketing department. I don't usually focus on making it super pretty. I like things that are very functional. So it's a pretty small marketing department, but it can fit 4 people. And I always put a ton of gold star awards. That is like the cheapest, easiest way to get it up to a level 5 room. And if you have a level 5 room, they're gonna work faster and be happier, so that's what we want to do. And of course, in any regular hospital, we need a GP's office, and there we go with the radiator again. But basically for the GP's office, I don't like to put the door right to the side because I do like to clone rooms, and if I need to put it on either side and the door's like right at the corner, sometimes it intersects with the wall and it doesn't like it, and it's way too much work like to build it from scratch every time. So we'll just build one that works for everything. I did put in as many medicine cabinets as I could, even though they're expensive, because the GP's office is really like the key to having your hospital run smoothly. Really, you want to get patients in, diagnosed, and off the treatment as soon as possible. You don't want them to... Oh, wait. Okay, let's read this. Wait, go back. Just a little. Okay. Now that the show is fully underway, we'll start to receive requests from the show's producers about what they think should happen next. If they see the ideas make it into the show, we'll receive some additional funding. People online can be mean about television, or about anything really. When someone says something negative about the show, it'll affect our reputation. Luckily, we can combat their cruel, cruel words by investing in some marketing. Okay, so that's fine. So our 1-star objectives is to run 4 marketing campaigns to have our star diagnose 3 patients, which is great because he's a GP. And then we want to cure 6 patients with one of the new diseases, which is stunt trouble. But in the meantime, let's just focus on building a great hospital. So like I was saying, the key really to get your hospital to run efficiently is to make sure that patients get in and out as soon as possible. Otherwise, they get, well, really sick and they could die. They can get really mad and they'll storm out. And if they don't get to treatment, like that's really where you're making your money in treatment, not really diagnostics. So the key is really to get really strong diagnostics, get them in, get them out, and get treated. So that is really the best way to keep your hospital running smoothly. So GP's offices, great entry point to diagnose them as much as possible. Okay, so I'm just adding a couple of drinks machines. I always like to add an energy drinks machines near to where the diagnostics areas are because they need to maybe walk to more than one, and then they need to walk to the treatment area, which is usually, for me, I put them a little bit farther away. So I want them like hyped up on caffeine so that they're like running to the next place and not clogging up my hospital. So again, I'm trying to get them in and out as soon as possible. And then I almost forgot like bathrooms and staff rooms. So I just put in like the standard couch, something to relieve boredom, something to add happiness, and I can't remember what the last one is, entertainment I think. So I always have the exercise machine, the boxing, and then an arcade machine. And I do like smaller staff rooms, but then have like multiple of them. It's just easier to I don't know, put everything in and like to fit it in your hospital. And then also if you have just a bunch of them, then there's always like a staff room right around the corner, so then they have to walk less. I think this is when I realized, oh my gosh, it's a hot area, I need to put like cooling things, so I started taking all of them out. So oops. And I always use ice sculptures as opposed to the air conditioning. So I think the air conditioning does get a little bit colder, but they need maintenance, and that's gonna clog up your handyman all the time trying to maintain all those things, whereas an ice sculpture is not only beautiful, so it adds some decorative effect, it cools the place down, and it doesn't require any maintenance, and I don't think it's that much more expensive. So I really like that. And I saw that one person is waiting for a ward for treatment, which is great because I actually like to use the ward as my sole diagnosis room. You need a ward anyway, and I think it's really efficient because you can have like one staff, or you can put 2 in there, and they can put in, I think I put like 6 beds. So as far as like a staff to patient ratio, it's really efficient. It's not like the best diagnosis, but if you have really well-trained staff, so in the ward, people with staff training in like ward management, I guess, and then really strong GPs, I find that the majority of the time, that is good enough really to diagnose pretty much everyone. And I diagnose them only to 50%, just because I'm usually not too worried about my reputation. If a couple of people die, that's okay. But they usually don't because I have high treatment levels and all that. It's more important to me to get them in and out, again, as soon as possible, because they stand a higher chance of dying if they take too long to be diagnosed. And I know you used to, have like, general diagnosis, cardiogram, x-ray, scanner, all that kind of stuff. am I mixing stuff up with Theme Hospital? Anyway, you know what I mean. All those individual diagnostic rooms. But you end up having so many staff to manage, and they take up a ton of space, which means that people have to take a long time to walk between rooms, and that is just not inefficient. You'll clog up your whole hospital, and more people in the end will end up dying or storming out. So really, even though this is not like the best diagnostic room, I think it's the best diagnostic room. Like, it's efficient in terms of space and staff and everything. So always a ward. And you'll notice that I always keep it next to the GP's office. Well, now we only have one building, but I always keep it next to it so that people can go from their GPs, oh, I need more diagnosis, and then they don't have to walk too far to get to the ward. So then they asked you to place 2 of these posters, and I thought it was like 2 action and 2 rom-com and 2 zombie and 2 sharks. But actually you only need like 2 in total, and you can like mix and match. So I put a few too many in, and then I started like taking them away because I wasn't sure how often you have to do that. I didn't want to run out of wall space, but actually that's not really an issue. They don't ask you like that often, so you could just leave them up. And this is our first look at the new room. Oh, I didn't build it yet. There is a new room called Danger Zone. And I think they probably will introduce like 1 new room per hospital. So that's the one for this. So everything is kind of ticking along. I set our star to be like the only GP because one of our objectives for this star is for him to cure 3 people. Or not to cure 3 people, to diagnose 3 people. I don't know if that means like to 100% or just enough to get treatment. But then I realized later on, oh, I love that shark. I realized later on that because he wasn't a high enough level to diagnose people to 100% just based on the GP's office, I think they would then, like, let's say go into the ward to get more diagnosis, and they would get diagnosed in the ward, and they didn't go back to the GP's office because of the policies that I set. So I later on changed that just for a little bit, and hopefully I remember to take it off. I don't actually remember anymore. But I set it so that from the ward, even if they're 100% diagnosed, they'll go back to the GP's office, then he'll get the credit for the diagnosis. But that's, I usually don't turn that setting on because it's less efficient. Again, like to get those people in as soon as possible, like in and out of the hospital. So going back to the GP's office doesn't make any sense, and you don't make that much from the GP's office anyway, so you're not really getting any money from that. And that's those pop-ups for like promotions and trainings is gonna annoy me real quick, and I will just change the settings so that they're automatically promoted, because that's so annoying. I spend so much time looking for staff, and I'm like super picky too. So I look at the skills, and I like to have very segmented staff. So like 1 staff just for GP, 1 staff just for treatment. And that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, so that all their skills are geared towards whatever they're going to be doing, and also because I organize my hospitals by I guess like type, or like, so I'll have like 1 area for diagnosis, another area for treatment, and then usually I have like 1 nurse treatment area and 1 doctor's treatment area. So then if you have a doctor specializing in treatment, then they can always stay in that general area and they're never too far away from wherever they need to be. Whereas if you have like general doctors, they can go everywhere. And I think one of the best improvements, I think, over Theme Hospital is the ability to say like, this staff will only do surgery or whatever, that you can tell them what they should be doing, which is really nice. And oh yeah, I wanted to build that new treatment room, but it's huge. It's a 7x3 room, so I did need to buy a new plot in order to put it. So I just chose the one right beside this one. I did realize later on that the plot that you start on is not where the patients go into. We're actually like all the way off to the right side, which is not the most efficient, but by then I was too lazy to move everything, so anyway. So I always make sure that wherever the patient is intending to go into the machine is the closest to the door, so I've oriented the machine the correct way. That's just more efficient. And then same thing for the operating panel where the doctor will be. It's kind of near to the door, which is more efficient. So that is our new room. It's some sort of like a motorbike thing, like a stunt, I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of cool. Yeah, then I realized I only have 3 nurses, which is crazy. Just making sure that these guys have snacks, drinks, and washrooms. And unlike the drink machine that I put over in the diagnosis area, where I want them to be able to like move as quickly as possible, by the time they get the treatment, like they're already where they need to be. So I just want to keep them as happy as possible, because happy patients pay their bills. So I actually put like the luxury snacks in the luxury drinks machine to give them a little boost of happiness. And then it started bugging me for like a bunch of treatment rooms. So I went ahead and built the fracture ward. You can actually fit more beds in here. I just stuck with 4 because I find that if you have too many, at least back in the day, I think they've made some improvements to the base game in terms of like algorithm and stuff. But it used to be that because there's only one door, like a bunch of people will be lining up to get in and to get out. So sometimes it's better to have multiple of the same room, but like a smaller room for these like wards and fracture wards, as opposed to one really big one. Even though you can get like more than 1 nurse in there, so you might end up with the same amount of staffing it, but it is actually, I find, more efficient to have smaller rooms. Oh my gosh, it's an emergency. There's so many of them. I probably should have built more than 1 room, but I don't know. I don't know why. And I won't be able to cure them, but you know what? That's kind of okay. Because you won't get the bonus in terms of reputation, but I actually like to keep my reputation down pretty low, otherwise you get overwhelmed pretty quickly. And even with a 0 reputation, you're still gonna get a ton of patients, or as much as you can handle. So that's fine, and then you won't get like the bonus at the end, but compared to the treatment cost, that bonus for saving everybody's life is pretty low. So I don't really aim for that. This is a small room, so in order to get to a level 5, I really had to like squeeze those gold stars in. I think in the next, well, later on in this play, I'm gonna have to probably go to one of the other hospitals, my research hospital, and see if we can upgrade this machine, because it doesn't have a very high cure rate. So you see a lot of these people actually were not cured and a bunch of them died. Like that guy. Sorry. But yeah, here's a look at our new room. It's nice, it's just so big. Oh, I hate the year-end reviews. Yes, I have a really bad hospital. I know. And I always go in and set all my treatment costs to double. So again, where you really make the money is in the treatment costs. And that by that end, as long as you don't make them so mad that they don't pay, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they might lose some happiness from paying so much, but it doesn't matter. The only point of making them happy is so that they'll pay. And if you can get your people in and out of diagnosis fast enough, they'll be at a pretty happy state by the time they get the treatment. So most of them will still pay. And like I said, it hurts your price reputation for sure, but I actually like to keep my reputation down until later on. And I actually have a bigger trouble keeping my reputation down than keeping it up. So doubling prices is okay. But don't double your prices for diagnostics, because that will make people mad as they go along, and then they might not be so happy by the time they get the treatment, and then they might not pay you. And diagnostic, like the fee that you charge is so low anyway, you're not gonna make money even if you double the cost. It just doesn't matter. Oh, this is really funny. The ghost is like gonna get kicked out of the room. Such an obedient ghost. Okay, we need to squeeze in a staff room. I try to get like a staff room and a washroom in every building so that people aren't like walking too far. I want them to stay in the building that they need to be in. And I'm constantly like turning the marketing campaigns. I'm focusing the marketing campaigns more on getting staff as opposed to like advertising, because like I said, we don't need reputation, but we do need really great staff. And then I kept forgetting about it, so I didn't like hire them. Oops. I think we have like 4 marketing people by now, so it is like going pretty fast. So then the director said that they wanted a machine to explode. That's so annoying. I don't want to do that. And then I was thinking back to like the theme hospital days where you would have to, like, that would ruin that spot forever. You couldn't replace it. It would just like stuck in the middle, and I didn't want to do that where all the action was. So I bought a plot like all the way at the end of my lot so that it could explode there, and you know, that's fine. We don't need that part anyway. You're not going to use the whole map. And then I forbade my handyman from like repairing any of the machines. But actually it turns out in this game that when the machine explodes, you can just like clear it out and replace the machine. So I really didn't need to put it like all the way out of in the middle of nowhere, but ah well. I'll figure that out soon enough. Oops, again. I haven't played this in like way too long. But usually I don't allow my machines to explode. That's pretty unusual. I love to have like lots of handymen, so it's not a thing anyway. And yay, we got to 1 star! So congratulations! Your hospital has been awarded a 1-star rating by the 2 Point Health Ministry. So you've decided to chance your arm in show business. It's a well-trod path for those of us who find success in the healthcare trade, but I warn you, it can only end in tears. Anyway, I remain confident that television is nothing more than a passing, albeit long-lived fad. Continue to fester in the realm of fiction, or return to reality and get back to work. Yours fragrantly, Tarquin Foxbridge, Health Minister. Alright, so that is the end of the 1st star. It's an interesting pack so far. Actually, not really. I was kind of more surprised because, so I've actually bought like all the DLCs, but I haven't played them all. I pretty much, I've dabbled a little bit in the one with the Bigfoot. And then I did like my video series on Off the Grid, and Off the Grid I found had so much like new gameplay. It was really a different experience than the base game, and at least for the first map I'm finding that it's kind of just like another map. There's nothing super out like anything that changes the gameplay. So we'll see what the rest of the maps look like and see if there's anything left in this map that might be interesting. But that's all I have today. I'm sorry I couldn't get my video up on the day that they released it. I know that some of you guys will want to, you know, browse YouTube and see what the gameplay is like so you can decide if you want to get this game. Especially since I think right now they still have the pre-order sale of 10% off. So I didn't want to get this video out as soon as possible, but you know, some of us have to work. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be releasing more of them this week, and hopefully my review of the whole expansion pack really soon, so you guys can make that decision. If you enjoyed this video, do make sure to give it a like. It helps me out a ton. And make sure to subscribe if you want to catch the next video. And I'll catch you next time. Bye!